tonight,
You are listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
The potato peelings in the sink did not turn into vodka as I had hoped. I only start to need a drink after the liquor stores have closed. I heard you changed your name again, but don't you change your hair. It was the only thing I liked about you in the end. La la la.
Now that we got that pesky Irvine Improv show out of the way, we can talk legitsk.
Where you made me do my first shot ever in my life.
Well, you know, it seemed like it was going to be funny in my head to just open up with Laura Kimball. And I imagined a whole lot of things that didn't happen. Like, what would you do if you had a fucking inoperable brain tumor or 30 brain tumors and you could do anything in the world because they go, hey, there's nothing else we can do for you. You're fucked. And at some point, anytime, you could just drop out, fucking stroke up, seizure out, and die. Good luck. What would you do? So I queried the audience with that, and I got nothing. It's kind of I think I was expecting my normal road audience that would just yell dumb shit, but I had that fucking Irvine uptight, let's see how the other half lives type of audience that said nothing.
Wasn't there one guy who yelled out something stupid?
He yelled, but not stupid enough to run with it.
Okay.
I thought that would eat up a chunk of.
Someone said, a gentleman said, divorce my wife
Yes,
and
that
go
was
party with someone.
Another woman.
With another woman.
Something.
Yeah. And then someone said, watch Dawson Creek.
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Because that's what I'm doing.
That's what she does now.
Ooh.
I watch Veronica Mars and Dawson's Creek. And I watch Mad Men. This is actually like pretty much the coolest thing that I do.
That might have caused the tumors.
Maybe.
Like the high expectations and then the low, slowly sinking. This is just fucking days of our lives.
I have such a Mad Men story for you. But first of all, Renee and we live about 20 miles apart. And she and I watch the show at the exact same time. And like we make sure we're on the minute. And then we text each other the whole time. We're like, oh my God, look at how
you live tweet without tweeter.
We just text each other. Yeah. You're so into Twitter. I don't do the Twitter thing. But yeah, so
it's like texting with bigger buttons.
I guess
you can
so.
Type. You don't have to
I
have
type
big
on my
thumbs.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just like live chatting the entire time while we're watching Mad Men, talking about what's going on or looking at John Hamm and how hot he is and how huge his penis is. And you can see it constantly. But then, it's also like, oh my God, look at Joan.
I just did a podcast with John Hamm who said that is a, what do you call it?
You did not.
Yeah, he said they actually put that in his pants. What do you call it? How did he phrase it?
You're lying to me because...
prosthetic.
Prosthetic. That's what he said. I didn't even... John Hamm taught me the word prosthetic talking about the... He said it was the same guy that did Boogie Nights' penis on
that was
Marky
nice
Mark.
Yeah, Marky
yes.
Mark. So John Hamm, it was actually in the tabloids that they asked him to start wearing underwear because he doesn't wear underwear and his schlong hangs down his leg so much. It's like gigantic. And you can't not notice it. And so Mad Men actually
I have spent,
asked him,
I think, 6 seasons not noticing it, so maybe...
And the 7th, he will continue.
Yeah, maybe his eyes are up here.
So here's my big Mad Men story. I've been watching that show since the day it started. I've watched it 5 times through the entire series. I'm now watching it a 6th time with Renee while we chat. And I just watched the first half of the last season, and I'm going to fucking die before the second half of the last season airs.
I was so terrified that I didn't want to die before the end of Breaking Bad, but I could easily die without seeing fucking Mad Men because
You have
doesn't
I
matter.
literally bawled my eyes out at the end. She said she was crying because of like the guy who died. I was like, I didn't give a shit about that. I cared about me dying. And I'm not.
You
gonna
can't
see the
talk
end
off
of it.
mic, Renee. That's a big rule.
So I was
And
totally.
but you can give me ice and have the jingle go in the background.
Super upset about that, and I'm so I have all these people with their feelers out going. Do you know anybody? Who
Everyone
works
knows
on
John
Mad?
Hamm. John Hamm is a huge comedy fan.
I know he
Even
is.
Henry Phillips knows John Hamm.
See, we need people to talk to him because, but they haven't even finished
he wouldn't
filming
know.
it.
He wouldn't
They
know.
haven't finished filming it. They
Yeah.
don't finish till July. But I mean,
You're not really Make-A-Wish Foundation age. How old are you?
I'm the same age as you. I'm 47.
47. What month?
August.
August.
So
See,
I'm older
I'm March.
than you. I'm older than you. I know.
No, I'm March.
Oh, you're older than me.
Yeah. So
I always thought I was older than you.
listen, I know you're dying of brain tumors, but when you get to be my age, you're going to see things a lot differently. 6 months ago, I had all these flights of fancy like you when I was 47 and a lesser 47.
In a couple months.
Yes. Once you get to be my age in 4 months.
Okay.
6 months.
And then what's my big revelation going to be?
Unfortunately, you won't live to see how smart you would have been like I am now because you won't be 6 months older.
You might have a point there.
Let's go back.
Okay.
First of all, hey people, John Hamm, Laura Kimball, do some kind of a Fight Club scene where I'm dying of brain cancer, and if I could just make love to John Hamm.
I don't even want
I
to make
brought
love to-
pornographic films, and I have lubricants at my house. Remember that scene in Fight Club? The lady dying of cancer at the support
I
group.
saw that in the theater when it came out. I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
It's
I
because
have
your
brain
head
cancer. I
was
can't
buried in
remember a
some
fucking
man's
thing.
lap.
Likely. That's
Probably.
totally me.
Probably.
So
Let's
anyway,
cut
I
back
don't
to
want
how
make
we met.
love to John Hamm. I just want to see the end of the show.
Really? You stare at his penis for 6 seasons,
Yeah.
and you're really worried
I
about
think
how it
he's
ends, or you
super
just
hot,
you
but
want to see his dick?
I just want to see how it ends.
If you had
because
your
I love
choice,
Joan and
of-
I love Peggy.
you have
it's
a
a whole
choice of
thing.
seeing how the show ends, or having John Hamm just come into a hotel room and plop out his cock and go, "Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime." What do you choose?
The show.
All right. I'll tell you how
I'm
it ends.
such a priss. You have no idea.
I'll tell you how it ends.
Yeah.
It ends in
Thank you.
1995 when he has 6 kids. He's fat and bald, and he doesn't care. And he talks about how I was big in marketing once. I was once big.
You're probably right,
Yes.
actually.
It's like
That's
how
sort of how Dawson's Creek is ending. They went 5 years after the whole teenage thing.
I never watched it, but I did watch Deadwood. Was the biggest heartbreaker
Never
of my
seen it.
life. Deadwood ended on a cliffhanger, and you go, they didn't pick up the show? What the fuck? But how's it end? Well, you can go to Deadwood, South Dakota, and it ends as a tourist trap.
Is that an actual place?
Yeah, it's a real show. Like Mad Men was a real era. You can
No,
see
I
how it
know, I
ends.
know,
Yeah,
I
it ends
know.
with us as their kids grown up.
Dressed like that. Just
Yeah,
exactly how
I'm
you're
dressed.
dressed.
Yes,
With the United
no,
Airlines.
No, they're not
Yeah.
dressed like this now. I'm dressed like they were dressed. If that season went like 5 years later, then he's trying to dress like Mad Men because I got 70s going and they're ending at the
No, they're
right
kind of like right around the 70s.
they're-
Like Pete dresses like that right now.
just getting close to it.
We're spending
so,
a lot of time on Mad
Yeah, I
Men
know. I know. How did let's get to you.
And how we met.
How we met, because we met a million times before I even started to.
Be my friend.
Yeah,
Um,
it's how it works.
I know, especially with you famous people. So I went to the Throckmorton Theater in Mill Valley to see Paul Provenza's show that was supporting his book Satiristas. And you were in that.
Hang
And
on.
He was...
I need you to open that up and get me a fake ashtray. Because if we're doing... This is the Comedy Hospice podcast. If you know me at all, I've talked about Comedy Hospice quite a bit.
And he's smoking in front of a cancer patient.
Well, you're going to try a cigarette now that you can.
No, I smoked for 8 years.
Did you?
Yeah. Back when I was a teenager.
Oh, that's
20s.
probably what
That's
caused
why
the
I
cancer.
have cancer.
They would add that as a statistic. Well, she has cancer. She died of brain cancer. Well, she did smoke.
It's not brain cancer. It's skin cancer. It's melanoma.
Every cancer. Well, you have 30 tumors in your brain,
Because
and your skin
melanoma's-
looks fine. So,
I know I don't have a skin lesion.
honey, I need a fucking lighter
Look at all those
too.
Bibles.
Jesus,
I don't have one. Lighter.
a lighter.
There's one right here. So we met. I went to the Throckmorton Theater in Paul Provenza, whom
Mill
I
Valley,
know.
California.
Mill Valley, California. Great room. Typically, though I think you walked 50% of the audience, including Mort Saul, if you recall.
I do remember the quote as they were putting Mort Saul into a car as he walked out, and they had to have a helper put him in a car. He said,
The woman who owns the theater helps them.
Yeah. He said, I know they have the right to say it, but...
I think that was exactly right. Well, so I went and Provenza came over to me and said...
First of all, no one listening knows who the fuck Mort Saul is. If you know who Mort Saul is and you know how to listen to a podcast, you're an anomaly.
Well, I do. But actually, I only know who Mort Saul is from going to the Throckmorton because he's there every week. But but he's from that the era of
Lenny Bruce. They
yeah,
said, they always said if Lenny Bruce had lived and Mort Saul had died, Mort Saul would be the legend. Unfortunately, he lived to be Jake LaMotta age.
Yeah, I know. I've actually seen him stand up and do comedy. So Provenza came over to me and said, this guy who's headlining, you have to stick around and see him. You have to see, he's fucking amazing, but a lot of people just don't get him. And I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are on him, because he's just insane. He's like my favorite guy. He was just going on and on about you. And I was like, I've never heard of him. And he's like, make sure to stick around to the end. So I stuck around to the end, and I was there with my friend Dan, and we were like on our feet cheering, just going, oh my God. And then after the show, I met the other people that were performing on that. I didn't meet Father Guido Sarducci, but I met Jamie Kilstein, my good buddy. That was sarcastic. And
I have nothing against Jamie Kilstein.
We can talk.
Everything I've said about him behind his back, I've said to his face more.
The Joe Rogan episode.
Not even that was after the fact, but just about his act and everything.
Yeah,
I have nothing against him. I just have opinions about comedy. Anyway,
okay.
I just don't want it to sound like I'm secretly attacking him.
No, that's cool. I mean,
told him my first CD I did, I'm doing that, gasping for breath, talking
that
so
whole
fast.
Slam poet thing that he does.
Well, it's almost like music where when the song ends, they clap. If you talk really fast and have a barrage of words that last longer than your breath, you will get a round of applause at the end. It's a fucking skanky trick.
Because
you're not
happy
saying anything.
I know. I was so tense the whole time he was up there because he's so frenetic.
You clap because you agree.
I clapped because I was happy it was done. But
first of all, my tour manager just put the this is a
checked in.
non-smoking room $250 cleaning fee thing in my face when it's on my credit card. Do you think I've never stayed in a hotel in 24 years, you cunt? All right, sorry.
Don't call him a cunt. He's nice.
No, open that up. There. Yeah, that's what Bingo was supposed to do. Sorry.
So I did not. I was looking for you. I just wanted to go over to you and tell you I thought you were amazing. And I don't know. You did the whole you slipped out the back the minute the show was over or something. I don't know. But then the next time I saw you was at this shows. It was the best show I've ever seen you do. It was at the Rickshaw Stop in San Francisco. Wait, I just have to say.
I'll tell you. I'll give you one more me story. I'm not trying to bring you on with your fucking brain cancer to tell me how great I am.
Show. Shut the fuck up and let me talk. It was the coolest show because it was standing room. It was like a punk rock club. Do you remember that?
Yeah. No,
and
we
there was
did
this
it a few
weird
times.
frog table thing. It was like the size of a bar stool, but it was a frog. And I posted the picture of you standing next to it, and Provenza posted something on that picture on Facebook saying something, "Oh my God, please tell me that it was me that turned you on to him." And what the fuck is that thing he's standing next to? It was very funny. But
we were at the Rickshaw Stop, and there was a kid. I don't know if you were at this show. There was a kid when I looked down out of my peripheral vision that obviously wasn't going to make it through the show. He was too fucked up, a really young kid, and he's teeter-tottering foot to foot, and you can see he's clapping and laughing out of turn. You know he's not. He's just happy to be there, so fucked up. And I said to him, "You're not going to be here at the end." And then after the show, I went up to the green room. We weren't selling merch, so I didn't have to go out and glad hand. So
you
we just
were selling merch. Bingo was up at the front, and that's when I first met Bingo, and she was wearing a super short skirt.
I played there a few times. This kid, we went down at the end. The bar is already cleaned up, and this kid is still slumped over the bar. And then he came over. He tried to talk to me, and I'm like, "This guy's fucked up." And the bouncer goes over to take him out because he can't walk. And as the bouncer's carrying, everyone's gone. He's carrying the kid towards the door, and the kid starts vomiting on his feet. So the bartender turns from the door to push him through the men's room door to get him into a toilet. He's carrying a walking vomit machine.
And you're watching that all?
Everyone else is gone. We're just like having our last, shift drink, as they would say in the service industry. And so they put him outside. We go outside. This kid is completely, he can't make words. He's so drunk. And it's kind of a seedy part of town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can't just leave this kid here. We'll call a cab for him. So we call a cab, and we ask him where he lives, and he can't make the words to tell us where he lives.
Oh,
so we're like, fuck, what are we doing with this kid?
Did you take him home to your hotel room?
His phone rang. So I answered it. It was his mother.
No way.
And I'm like, my name's Doug Stanhope. I'm a comedian. This guy was here. I'm his mother. I go, well, he can't tell us. We're trying to put him in his, we already had gone through one cab. We put him in it. And then that's when we realized he couldn't tell the cab driver where to go. And we had to take him back out of the cab. And finally, his mother says, well, he lives like 45 miles away.
Oh my God! So that would have cost you $200 to send him.
Well, no,
in a cab.
She's like, no, his brother I'm gonna call his brother. His brother's in town, so we finally got his brother on the phone, and we brought him to our hotel, and we waited with him in the lobby for the brother to come.
What an ordeal!
And then he's vomiting more. So I'm trying to take footage because. You know,
of course,
you want to take.
Yes, you have to document the most heinous parts of people's lives. I understand.
I don't. It was Bingo or whoever we were with that was taking footage, but him vomiting made me vomit because watching someone puke, nothing makes you. Oh, so there's footage somewhere of him puking while I'm laughing at him, but then I puke because I'm watching him puke. But we did get him to his fucking brother's car, who zipped him out of there. And I did get a call the next day because he had my number on his brother's phone.
Right, yeah.
Evidently, I made an asshole of myself, and thank you for taking care of me. But I've never heard another word from him. That's the guy you want to hear from here and there. Go, hey, remember me? I'm the guy. I get, remember me? I'm the guy who bought you a lot of drinks. And well, no, I don't. Where's that guy? We fucking saved your life, you motherfucker.
I never assume anyone ever remembers me.
So
wait, let me go on because that was the first night I met Brian. He was there.
Hannigan.
Yep. And it was the first night I met Bingo, and she was such a sweetheart, and I bought a shirt from her. And then I had my Satiristas book, and you signed it, and you wrote something really sweet, like "I love you," and you'd never met me before, and
It's because I don't have a catchphrase.
So I got that.
If I could say "nanu nanu," Robin Williams was on that show, wasn't he? No.
What show are we talking about?
Actually, he showed up afterwards.
He's there every other week. Cause
he
lives
showed up
right
at
the
the after party.
Yeah.
Where Mort Saul was there, and I had to sit away from him.
You can hang out with him there every week if you want to. I've hung out with him a bunch of times.
Anyway.
He's a very nice person.
He is.
He's not my friend. I don't know him, but I see him.
He was nice to me that night.
So anyway, but I bought that shirt that you used to sell that said "Death of a Salesman," and then I forgot it because I got.
It's Jesus on the cross
Yeah,
for those who don't know.
It's
that
like
says "Death of a Salesman." It was Jack and Dino's idea. We sold it.
And I have always been. So what happened was, I left it. I got talking to Bingo, and I left it on the table and went home like an idiot. And it was pre-brain cancer. And then I emailed you, and I told you I wanted to get another one. So I like went on the store and bought it, and you sent it to me. And I've always been too much of a fucking wimp to wear it. There's so many Christians in my neighborhood. I'm just like terrified that I'm gonna be beaten down or something by the good-hearted Christians when I'm wearing my Death of a Salesman shirt.
These are the things that when I was saying, well, now that you have brain cancer and you have
I
any
could use
minute
that
to
as
live,
an excuse, right?
like what can you what are you not doing?
Well, here's the thing. There's like one of my friends was just saying she's young and healthy and gorgeous and she's a runner and she's all, and she's like, I realize I'm getting up there in age. I just turned 40 and I want to start doing all these bucket list things. And I responded back right on Facebook, and I don't know a lot of her friends, and I was like, I'm dying. And that bucket list shit, it's
Chaille,
idiotic.
give me my yellow legal pad and my pen so I don't keep interrupting her. I could jot down things I want to fucking say later.
I don't like any of that. I told you on the phone, you were my one and only bucket list item. I wanted to see you live one more time, and that was it. And I had.
Do you know we had designs, me and Keith Lowell Jensen, on
my backyard party,
backyard show, surprise, just show up and surprise her. Henry Phillips was going to come. This goes back to I think February. I don't know.
Yeah, he's been talking. Because I told Junior, I know, but I told Junior and Steve Poggi and Keith that they should come to a backyard party at my house like 2 years ago, and so there's always been this ongoing discussion about the backyard party. Even Carlos Valencia, was like, I want to get in on it. So there has been that discussion. But Keith told me that he and Paul had been kind of working on maybe doing one, but I didn't know anything about you or Henry.
I expedited the closest hotels to your house, and San Jose's a shit market to fly in and out of, and I had other shit to do.
No, it's not. We have a great little airport. But
no, out
of
Tucson, and you can't get.
That's
yeah,
true.
I couldn't get frequent flyer miles for your death.
My death
I'd have to go on an off-market fucking airline. It's a lot of problems.
Just charter a jet.
Charter a jet.
Why not?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Anyway.
I've spoken to Johnny Depp about you when we talked about doing comedy hospice. So your name has been in Johnny Depp's ear.
So I have to tell you, when I was like, when was 21 Jump Street on? I was probably like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I was so obsessed with Johnny Depp that there was this contest it was like American Eagle Outfitters or Miller's Outpost. I think it was Miller's Outpost. And Greg's laughing. Do you remember that store? And it was like a shitty jeans store. And they had this thing. You fill out an entry form and you can win a trip to go be a walk-on on 21 Jump Street. And I took like 10 pads, like big, like there must have been 100 sheets per pad. And I took like 10 of them. And I was a receptionist at a computer company at the time. And I just sat there at the desk and I filled those out all fucking day for like a week. And I mailed every one of them in. And I got a t-shirt in the mail. That was all I won.
Do you still have the t-shirt?
No, I wish I did. I don't. But I was obsessed with him.
I
on
am
21
now.
John Street.
I was never obsessed with him till like we're like some sort of pseudo friends, and now there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about Johnny Depp, because Johnny Depp called me and I hung out with Johnny Depp, and now every day he doesn't call me, I must have done something wrong. I never thought about Johnny Depp in my life, and now I'm like, was it too soon to text Johnny Depp again? Because he texted me back, but I've texted him 3 times and he didn't talk. So I have to wait for a text back from Johnny Depp.
That's sort of how I feel about you.
That's how fucking brain cancer starts.
It is.
It's-
You should get checked out.
I should check. No, Johnny Depp should get checked out, because look at you. You filled out fucking 10 pads of paper about Johnny Depp. Now I'm thinking about Johnny Depp.
And I didn't even get to meet him.
Yeah.
I know.
He's a nice guy. But you know what? You know who else is a nice guy? Half those people in line at the merch booth. Nice people. I don't think about them ever. My fans, the people go, hey,
I bought you a drink.
I drove 800 miles from an oil rig to see you.
Have you really heard that?
I had a guy fly from Africa to see me in London, an island off the coast of Africa. You know what? I don't think of him ever until this moment.
You just have Johnny Depp
a reference,
is filling your
but
brain.
yes, it's a terrible, terrible thing.
I want to tell you,
But-
you call me more than most people I know to check on me.
Yeah, well, I feel some sort of obligation.
Well, you shouldn't feel obligated, but it's so
No, I
sweet.
do.
You're such a good person.
Well, because I like you, and that's what I was trying to get to, is you're not just like a fan of mine. You're a fan of comedy. You're involved. You've done so many things. When I was at the Comedy Store, and it was such a fucked up scene, and Junior Stopka was there.
Yeah, that was great.
His first foray into actual
big
city comedy. Like he's done he plays Chicago, and he does some one-nighters, and he's the big comic favorite of the new scene in Chicago. But
and my
to
husband's.
be in the Comedy Store, the main room, green room, where it's still 1970s cocaine related,
coolest room
they
ever.
built that green room around cocaine. They have the coffee table is shaped like a piano with a mirrored top, where I saw and Junior's I think I actually asked the manager to find cocaine like it was a cocktail. Like I gotta get Junior's gonna have to do a bump off of this table to say he actually lived this moment. So we had this crazy fucking weekend, and Bingo wasn't there, and you showed up, and we were so fucked up. You go, I'll sell merch for you.
But all you had was that one DVD, and we didn't really have that much to sell. It was when Before Turning the Gun on Himself had just come out, and you only had like 15 of them. But then Junior had the box of Henry Phillips CDs to sell, and so he and I were doing like, okay,
hang on, for the listening audience, Junior Stopka would just go to thrift stores and buy other comics CDs or DVDs from thrift stores, and then sell them at the merch booth. I don't have my own shit, but I have other comic shit. They're better comics than me. I'll sign them.
I love Junior
as the other comic. So somehow we get a hold of a bunch
You had a box of them at your house, and you brought them to Henry, and Henry's like, I don't want them. And he told Junior he could sell them.
Yeah, so Junior... Anyway, we're so fucked up at the Comedy Store that you took over, and you just took charge because Bingo, her job, she wasn't there. So you took over, and then we were doing 2 nights
at
the
Cobb's.
next day with the most reeking LA hangover since the last time I was there. Said, hey, I'm going to come again. I can help you out with whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And we were probably still fucked up going into the next show, and you just sold merch again.
It was totally, I love doing that. I did it for you at Cobb's, too.
But I mean, I've seen you. You were at the Green Room taping, the Green Room, which, hey, sign whatever petition's going around to get that back on Showtime.
The Green Room was the best show ever. Paul Provenza's Green Room.
Yeah.
On Showtime.
Yeah, you were there. Like, I've seen you
I
a
was at
million
most of the
places,
tapings
San
for that.
Jose all the
Yeah.
time. So it's not like you're some fucking weird stalker of me. You're a fan of comedy.
Totally, yeah. So it's funny, Keith Lowell Jensen, the guy in Sacramento, I know a lot of the Sacramento comedians, the San Francisco comedians, and he's told me that they're always kind of talking amongst themselves, asking, what is her angle? Like, they want to know if I'm trying to fuck some of them or
You show up
what
with
it
your
is.
husband, so that's...
Most of the time I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh, all right.
Most of the because we have kids, most of the time one of us has to stay home.
Hang on, I'm a natural-born host, and my friends just showed up, so... Yeah. No, I was going to make sure they knew where their cocktails were. Renee French, renowned artist and friend of the moribund Laura Kimball, is actually doodling in stolen Bibles so we can sell them for more money, which will result in the charitable contribution of us signing way too big of tips for not that friendly fucking bartenders. Is usually where most of our money goes. And you go, hey, I've been seen on Google. Don't you know me? Here's a big tip. Maybe you'll be nice to me after this. And they never are.
If it spills to another bar, that's the cash cow.
Yeah, as long as you keep the money at the bottom. That's my theory.
Yeah.
Keep the money at the bottom.
Do we have drinks somewhere?
P waits here. Yeah, we have. There's a giant bottle of vodka. And
But any mixer for that?
We have club soda in the next room.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, get back on here.
Sorry.
I don't want you to die before this is over.
I might. There's a good chance. I'm riddled with cancer.
They were at the show. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't just have brain cancer. We have to cover that. It's all over. I have a big tumor in my mammary gland.
All right. Well, all right. Everyone thinks you have an angle.
Right. Yeah, that's what Keith says, is that all the comedians that he knows are always saying, what is her angle? Because I'm friendly to all the comedians that I meet.
But
I only talk to the ones that I like as people.
But in San Jose, you would always show up and have a presence as though you were like an owner or a GM. And that was what I thought, not an angle, but like you have like a command of, oh, this woman's not just a regular, but has
she's not just a housewife. That's all I am.
No, you have you own the fucking club.
Well, so I went to my friend. I have this friend named Royale Watkins, and he produces a show in New York City called Mixtape Comedy
I know
Show.
Royale.
You do?
Yeah, but I'll just say it since you're dying anyway.
You better not say one bad word about him. He is like the most insanely awesome guy ever.
It's a wicked problem. And this goes across the board for races because I forget so many people. But when I know a black guy, but I don't know which one he is, it's not a you all look alike. It's you all human beings look alike.
I totally know what you mean.
That are comics. But I always feel bad because there's like 5 guys that I've met that I know, but I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, shit, which guy is this? But when it's a black guy, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm an awful person.
I know just what you mean. I know. There's a couple comedians that he does a lot of stuff with, Bill Bellamy and one other guy that I can't tell apart.
Right.
And it's just because I don't watch
their
comedy.
Well, that's actually offensive because Bill Bellamy is,
he's really famous, but I've never seen his comedy.
All right.
But there are white comics like Jim Gaffigan and some other guy, Drew Carey kind of guy that I can't tell apart. I see their pictures and I don't know who they are. Anyway,
go ahead.
So Royale, I went to his show in New York City, and it's 99% African Americans in the audience, and there
and 1% black people. Sorry, I thought that was funny.
So is my cancer acting up? I don't know. It's mostly black people in the audience. I was one of maybe 5 white people in the audience, and it was packed. It was at Gotham Comedy Club. That's where they do it. And there were all these old rapper guys. There was a guy from Houdini and a guy from Full Force, and they were there. I know, it was so rad. And they were coming over to me and talking to me after the show while I was talking to Royale. And Tony Rock was there, Chris's brother, but I didn't meet him. But we were hanging out, and all these people were going over to Royale going, so is she a label chick, or does she you
have that, you carry that confidence of someone who owns the place.
That's so weird. I don't see that in myself at all.
Yeah,
I'm like a mom. That's how I see myself. So that's funny.
but you do carry yourself with that type of, not aggression. It's not aggression at all. It's like, hey, I own this place and I'm so happy you're here. Like, you're so welcoming into a place. It's not even your place. Hey, make yourself at home. I just showed up here too.
I remember in San Jose at the Improv, I went up to you. I like waited in the line to get my picture taken with you, and I had already seen you like 5 times at that point or something. And it was right in the midst of that whole Charlie Sheen debacle, and I said,
another time I've been slighted in my career. Based on that bit was when he did that crazy comedy tour, fresh off I'm fucking crazy, winning. And I don't get a call for that. Really? Jeff Ross? What?
What did Jeff Ross have to do with it?
He went on. Charlie Sheen did a comedy tour, like fresh out of that sketchy.
Right, I remember that, but I don't know Jeff Ross being affiliated with it.
Yeah, Jeff Ross, I think, headlined the thing.
I think didn't Charlie Sheen hit up a bunch of comics about punching it up a little bit? Tiger's Blood or something?
Either way, he did a comedy tour.
Right.
Yeah. Where he explained.
But Jeff Ross was the guy. Like, wait, I'm the only fucked up guy left. Why didn't you pick me? Rick Shapiro even. And he's not even doing anything. I know, but I'm saying, why did you pick a fucking straight guy like Jeff Ross? Right. Jeff Ross is brilliantly funny. And yes, Jeff Ross and Margaret Cho. I do drop your names both in a.
You've been dropping your names a lot tonight.
Yeah, in that bit.
So Margaret Cho is my Facebook friend now.
Margaret Cho is supposed to be at the show tonight and called me.
And she didn't come, and I was there, and she's my new friend?
Yeah, she called me to apologize for not coming, even though I forgot she told me she was coming.
You should have told her I was coming.
Either way, I do drop her name in that closing bit, but it's not derogatory.
Okay.
Anyway, so how did you get into comedy? Like, what?
I went
all these places.
I started going to comedy shows when I was a teenager, and I would go to, you probably weren't even around then. I was like, you probably weren't coming to the West Coast, but I was seeing people like Bobby Slayton and Bobcat Goldthwait way back when he did his crazy voice. I don't know, Will Durst, like a ton of those guys back then. Larry Bubbles Brown.
I love it. Larry Bubbles Brown brought me a baseball card as a gift because he would stop smoking my goddamn cigarettes. Either you smoke or you don't smoke, bingo. If you don't smoke my fucking last 5 cigarettes. If you do smoke, go to the gas station and get your own pack. Anyway, Larry Bubbles Brown. He brought me a baseball card. He goes, I bring you baseball cards. I found out the year you were born, and he brought me a Bob Uecker card from 1967 from the year I was born. Oh, you didn't get one of those?
I didn't. But
he doesn't know you have cancer then.
He totally knows, and he actually, I don't know if I should, he...
Trash him, fuck it.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if people know he had melanoma, but it hadn't spread, so...
All right, you're trying to get into this, because you want to make it clear.
Bubbles. Love him.
I love Bubbles too. But you want to make it clear it's not brain cancer, it's melanoma.
It's melanoma.
That caused 30 tumors in your brain. And I'm the asshole, but go ahead.
60% of melanoma patients end up with what they call secondary brain cancer. So I was diagnosed with melanoma.
You always have to have a fallback plan. Listen, honey, I know you want to make it big with brain cancer, but you can have a B plan.
I don't even know what to do with that one. Okay.
But honestly, when I hear about skin cancer and put on sunblock, you think, I just try to visualize skin cancer killing you.
It's like the second most deadly cancer there is. It's so heinous. But so most people who have melanoma.
Explain it.
Most people have melanoma. They get like a mole that looks funny. They get it cut off and they're fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a mole. I didn't have a mole that looked funny. I was just adjusting my bra strap one day, and right next to my boob, I felt this super hard, very solid lump that was not moving, and I just went, holy shit.
That none of those rappers ever pointed out to you.
No, they didn't. After all those all those people, all the comics feeling my boobs. It was just this huge bump, and I went to get it biopsied, and even the guy who biopsied it was like, this doesn't look like breast cancer, because all he does is breast cancer boobs, and I mean tumors. And then they called me a couple days later and said, no, it's actually skin cancer that has spread throughout your body. It's already advanced stage. You're fucked.
All right, so it's
and then
the
you
mole.
called me.
All right, go ahead.
Later that night, I don't know how you found out, but you said somebody told you. And I had posted on Facebook with like a blog thing that I had just been diagnosed with cancer. And you called me. You were with Andy Andrist.
Yeah.
And Junior. And I think you were there too, but I didn't know you.
And
Bingo
you were
was
there, and you were there.
I know, that's what I was just thinking. And he sang that, ha 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 ha, you have melanoma. And I was standing outside by my pool, and I was laughing my ass off, and it just made me so happy. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I'm like trying to tell people what happened, and they're just like, well, that's horrible. And I'm like, oh my God.
People are fucking assholes.
That was like the best thing ever.
That's why we want to start Comedy Hospice.
I think you should make it like a movement, because it is.
But at the same time,
a lot of
not
people
that
can't handle
I mean,
it.
I do that with what I call your brain cancer now, but melanoma always sounds like your skin killing you. Like you can't visualize. I can't visualize skin cancer killing you unless it's making you shrivel up into a ball. Like so it starts as a mole, and then it goes into...
But it didn't with me. So what happened with me is they say less than 5% of patients end up with melanoma already spread throughout their body without what they call a primary lesion. So I didn't have a primary lesion. And I had five doctors look at me. Sorry. Tell me about your primary lesion.
No, go ahead. I was going to make an offhanded comment about the girl that gave me herpes who looked like Uma Thurman.
That's a primary lesion, right?
Kansas City, I'm still looking for you.
You're talking about like a primary lesion would be like where they would see that mole that would move or something like that.
Yeah, they would see like a kind of a mole that looks like it's maybe turning black or changing shape or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or it grows.
So you're dying of skin cancer that's none of it is on your skin. That's what's fucking with my head.
Right. So that's why I say less than 5% of patients who are diagnosed with melanoma have what they call subcutaneous. So it's below the skin.
So don't call it skin cancer, you fucking assholes.
But it's a
misleading label.
No, it's a melanoma tumor. It's a melanoma cell. It's the cell of the cancer. That's how they diagnose it. So it could be anywhere in your body.
Then, that's what I'm saying. It's a bad label to call it skin cancer. Call it something.
Because 95% of people
have a mole.
They have it, and a lot of it comes from UV rays. They say tanning beds are like one of the most common causes of it. So stop doing the tanning bed thing, Stanhope, finally.
Okay.
I go to reverse tanning beds, right? I get this jaundiced pallor from a tanning bed in reverse, where I lay down, I go, do it backwards. Make me look more sullen and withdrawn.
That's exactly how I've always looked. I've only gotten a few sunburns in my life, but I have the redhead gene, which Renee has also. That's a really common thing.
I will fall back on my "We Are Always Wrong" routine, which I did part of tonight, the best I could remember. But yeah, we're always wrong. Oh, I didn't do any of that. Oh, that was the chunk that was missing. Hey, enough of you. Let me just do this bit for Irvine that I forget this whole chunk of material, which is why I thought I was fucking done. Anyway, so yeah, you have so now it's spread.
So I found out in January. I had been on this medication. I was diagnosed in August of 2013, and I started medication in June that completely knocked out all the cancer. There was no sign of cancer anywhere in me, and at that point I had the big tumor in my chest. I had a whole lot of tumors in my lungs, and I had another tumor somewhere in my chest. But anyway, those were all gone completely on medication. And then I went in for another test in January, and my doctor was just like, holy shit. My doctor ended up having to take anxiety medication after he saw me, because he saw my brain scan and he turned sheet white.
I can't sleep. I'm not good at this anymore.
I know.
I'm losing it.
He was so mortified by my brain scan. He was just like, holy shit, when he saw it. I was just like, thank you. That was a good meeting.
The old Bill Cosby routine. Oops.
I know, totally. And so yeah, he was at that time. At that time, I had 12 tumors in my brain, and then I went in. He made me go in to get gamma knife radiation, which is where they stick this frame on your head and they screw these screws in 4 places in your skull,
Like with the halo.
yes, and they tighten them down so it's like a vice. They do it to like some huge percentage of pressure or whatever, so you can't move your head at all. And that was the day I was supposed to see you in San Diego.
I'll never forget the day that there was that open seat in San Diego. I'm like, what the fuck? You said this is sold out. No, I'm kidding.
Shut the fuck up. You were so nice. You totally got Lynn Shawcroft and Henry Phillips to come do the show because I love them both so much. And you're so fucking sweet. And then I couldn't come to the show. And then my doctor was like, yeah, that radiation didn't really do anything. And I was just like, God damn it, I missed Stanhope for that. That was so, they were giving me shots and shots of morphine just for the pain of this stupid frame in my brain. And it was like the worst day ever. And I must have taken like 6 Percocets. I had 4 shots of morphine, I think, and it did nothing for this insane, just like brain pressure.
That would be my next question, because you seem fine. You could be fucking dead at any second.
Well, my risk for like clotting and stroke and all that is definitely higher. So
At some point,
flying down here was a risk that I had to take.
Altitude.
Everybody apparently, I just learned this. Everybody's brain swells when they fly from the air pressure. But if you have brain cancer and you have swelling around the tumors, that gets worse and worse when you're flying. So I had to take steroids.
Hang on, I have to take a quick time out. This podcast is being brought to you by Amtrak. Hey, try the California fucking Zing line. Get a sleeper car. Amtrak. It's the way to go. If you don't know when you're going to die, you're not really on a schedule. So,
What about Pava?
are you coughing at my cigarette smoke?
I just sucked a big mouthful in.
Say it in the mic.
I can't talk.
She just fucking brain cancer dying lady just fucking walked off the set because of my secondhand smoke in the hotel room.
No, you made me
Unbelievable.
laugh and I sucked a huge pile of smoke down my throat.
Have
Now
you-
I can't talk.
Have you tried medicinal marijuana yet?
Yes, I have.
But that doesn't make you cough.
No, I didn't smoke it.
Oh, edibles?
Well, so yeah, so I have to
Patty ice? Thanks. Go ahead.
Every single story of mine is like a 6-hour long story. So
Go.
this is going to be
Well-
worse than the Marilyn Manson debacle. But
Don't worry.
Anyway.
This all makes sense. This is all linear.
It is pretty linear. So comparatively, at least.
Hang on. For the record, the only person I allowed to listen to the Marilyn Manson tapes was Laura Kimball because she's dying of brain cancer and won't tell anyone. I have not even listened to it.
I didn't. And in fact, I was hoping I could let Renee hear it. And
See?
it's
You're
gone.
already... Good. It's gone.
It's gone. I
No,
wasn't
it's just
gonna
for
be
you.
spreading it
Well,
around. I know.
That's how fucking even dying people have
Don't respect
vanity
the
where you go,
rules.
don't make fun of me for being fat. You're fucking dying. And then
No,
you
it
go-
was the steroids
go,
that I
"Oh,
had to take from the brain
I
cancer
know, and
that
then-
made me fat. And
but
I'm not
you-
supposed to talk about
But
this.
it's the same way that I go, okay, I'm just going to let you, you're dying of fucking brain cancer any second. You can listen to these tapes. But just one friend. I'm just going to tell one friend I'm going to let them listen. It's how people work. I'm saying when you're dying, it doesn't matter. You
always
still work like people work.
I always abide by your rules. You also sent me, well, Bingo, I think, emailed me, but you sent me Beer Hall Push before anyone else, and I didn't tell a soul.
Well, everyone had heard it. That's why you put it on
No.
a DVD, because
Well,
you're
maybe
done
that's-
saying it.
Maybe that's true. I don't know, but you were like, you want to be the first person to watch this. It's the rough cut, and I got to watch it. I didn't tell a soul that I got to watch that.
All right. Well, good. That installs the fact that yes,
Nobody has heard the Marilyn Manson. Not even my husband heard the Marilyn Manson interview. So,
well, no one would want to.
I know it was pretty hard to.
Hey,
listen
there's
to.
no more Dawson Creek. Listen, I could die at any moment. And now I'm out of Dawson Creek.
I know.
Sure,
I'm
I'll-
on my last episode. I don't know what to do. You're gonna have to refer me to one of your great shows.
We're gonna get John Hamm on the phone. What were we talking about? Hang on, I have a note here. I wrote to myself. Oh, bucket list. You said you were so tired of bucket list.
Oh yeah, I don't have any interest in any of that bucket list stuff. It's honestly all I want to do is be home with my family and see you. That was it. I wanted to see you, but in general, all I want to do is be home with my family.
The couple of things I could think of that would be on my bucket list are things I've already done, but I was too drunk to remember.
See, I don't have
Like
that issue.
Virgin Atlantic first class.
Nice.
Brian Hennigan got me a deal just to do a $2,500 show. He got me first class from LA to Heathrow on Virgin Atlantic first class. And I took a Xanax and full bar back when I didn't have the tolerance. And this is where you can schedule a massage. They have a bar on the upper deck where you can actually
I've seen
sit
pictures
at
of
a
it,
bar.
yeah.
And I slept through the whole fucking thing. So instead of a bucket list, I'm starting a
You
list
want to
of people.
relive moments?
Instead of that, like most of these things, I'm starting a list of people I want to get shit-faced with before I die.
Like who?
With Bill Murray at the top of the list. Yes. Like that would be my number one guy. And
Have you met him?
no.
I don't know anybody.
So
who knows him.
yeah, I'm trying to start a different list of.
Who else is on that list?
Well, like this guy's like Norm Macdonald doesn't drink. He would be on the list if he drank, but he doesn't
But he
even
smokes
drink.
pot.
And he's a Jesus guy.
No, he's not.
No,
Is he
he's
really?
a weird. He's a weird Jesus guy.
Someone was just telling me a
But I
really
would
great
still
Norm
like to get
Macdonald
shit
story.
faced with him and argue it. Like that would be a guy.
But he plays poker. Maybe you could do that.
But he smokes
No,
tons of pot.
yeah.
Are you not a pot guy?
No, this would be a list of people to get drunk with.
Oh, I think it was my friend Curtis DiMartini. I don't know if you know him. He hangs out with Larry Bubbles Brown. And he used to work on that Alex Bennett show live.
I remember
The
Alex
Quake.
Bennett in the
So he
Bay
used to
Area.
work on that show. So he knows like every comedian except maybe you. I don't know. But he was telling me this story about getting stoned with Norm Macdonald and going around to bars and talking to women and stuff. And he said it was a blast.
That guy.
That was recent.
There's a guy, fucking Lenny Clark. Lenny Clark was one of the funniest people I've ever hung out with. And he'd go on stage and he'd just talk. But it was like if you spent all day with him, going on stage was just part of his day. Where he's just that he goes into the steakhouse we're gonna eat at, and he's funny to the hostess. He's funny to everyone. He's talking to
That's
people at
very
the table.
rare.
He's like the host of the party of life. Like and he doesn't drink anymore. But I want to get a bucket list of people I want to get drunk with before I die.
People who are actually drinking.
I just don't have the timeline that you have. What's your timeline?
My doctor won't give me a timeline because there's just all these new treatments coming out, and they're supposed to. In January, he thought I had just a couple months. He was like, "This is really super bad. It's really bad." And because I had tons of swelling and like blood and stuff, it was like really nasty stuff going
blood.
on in my
You're
brain.
pointing at your head.
Yeah, so there were
not
like
coming out of your
I
like
was going
follicles.
to explain there are all these tumors all over my head with all this swelling around them and blood, and so it was just like
Internal or
was-
external?
internal. I mean, in my brain.
But if I was like looking at you,
you wouldn't
would
have
I
seen it.
okay.
No, it's all still there.
But you keep
It's not weeping out of
motion-
your head.
Well,
Yeah.
it's in my brain. But so there's one big one here and one big one here. And then there are 29
One on the side of your head and one over your eye.
my right eye.
All right.
And that's like where all the word recall stuff is. Though I feel like I'm doing pretty well. Sometimes
You're doing great.
I
I'm just
can't remember words.
when you're pointing, people can't see that.
No, I
We're
know.
not doing this for the room. There's people listening.
I was doing it for bingo.
Bingo's not. She's.
Is she asleep?
Yeah, she's
Laura
giving-
has positioned her left hand over her left ear and over towards the frontal lobe on the right side.
I wanted the Chaille commentary. I like that.
So medicinal marijuana. Get back to that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was you lit up on that.
So when I have to go back, that's why I said every story is like 4 hours long, because I have to go back and tell you that when I was a teenager, I tried pot and I hated it. It made me, I've always been
Anxious.
this total stress case, I guess. It made me super anxious. It made my heart palpitate. I would just be like freaking out.
Me too.
And I never enjoyed it. It never made me giggly or happy or anything. It just fucking stressed me out. So when I was diagnosed with cancer, my husband, Paul, was like, you may consider it. And I was like, but I don't have any side effects that are making me want to even try it. It doesn't affect my appetite. I wasn't having any pain really at that point. And then
Obviously, it didn't affect your appetite because you're fat.
I know, because I'm super fat. I know. 30 pounds, Doug. So anyway, then
Sorry, I brought this up on stage. I don't know if I brought it up on the podcast, but one of the first things she said was, "Don't make fun of me because I got fat." Like, you fucking died of cancer. We're hoping that you get here to the show before you fucking die. Like, I'm gonna be worried that you're fat.
I don't know. I never know what's going to come out of you.
Didn't you say something like the power of the ego?
Yes, you were talking about my vanity.
The vanity is alive in a cancer
The ego
patient.
and the sloth. Like, I think all 7 sins, deadly sins.
There was
sloth.
gluttony
I
in
watched
there.
Dawson Creek.
Gluttony.
Pride. I think people are gonna think I'm fat when I'm dead.
And I eat all day, every day until well past my bedtime.
So
then one of my relatives called me and said, you know what, there's this whole thing about, and it was really funny. It was like this very serious, I think I can help you, on the phone. And I was just like, really? You've never called me before. And so then he came over and he had this, it was like a one of those hotel size little honey jar things of liquid, like hemp. It was hemp oil, but it looks like molasses or something, but it's even thicker. And he was like, you just have to take, like, I forget how much he said. It was like 100 cc's or something like that. It was like as big as your cigarette of this every day, and it'll shrink your tumors. And so I actually went and read up on it, thinking, wow, maybe I should look into that. So he gave me this stuff, and first he handed me this bottle, and I said, the thing is, I can't handle being stoned. I just don't like it. I freak out. And he goes, here, I'll give you this one it's got virtually no THC. It won't have any psychoactive effect. So I gave it to my husband to try. And I said, because he smokes pot on occasion. He's a musician, So I said, can you try it first? He likes pot. I don't. So I said, can you try it first and see if it really is not psychoactive? So he's like, sure. So we bought those little clear capsules that you can get at the health food store.
Like gelatin.
Yeah,
like,
little
you
gelatin
can pack
capsules.
your own vitamins or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So we bought those, but then realized that was way too much. So Paul took like a toothpick, my husband, and dipped it in just like the tiniest amount. It was smaller than a grain of rice, and he just swallowed it down. Not the toothpick, but just the goo.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go out in the back house and play some guitar. And he came back in and goes, I have to go pick up the kids from the mall. And like a minute later, the car's back in the driveway, and he walks in and he's like, I'm so fucking stoned. I can't even believe it. I cannot drive. And I was just like, I'm so glad I didn't take that, because I would have been out of my mind. So then
and then you find out
months
he has
ahead,
no melanoma whatsoever. It cured him completely.
it did. He has no melanoma. So then months later, I get diagnosed with the brain cancer, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I might be willing to try it, because there are all these medical studies through universities saying that the hemp oil actually does shrink brain cancer, which is really rare. Like most chemos, they don't affect brain cancer. It's like there's a barrier around it that keep everything from getting into it. But apparently hemp oil has the ability to. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. So it's really expensive. We gave back the other stuff to the relative because we just were like, no, that's not going to happen. So we ended up buying some. And it was like the size of your cigarette. And they're like, you're supposed to do one of these every day. And again, I took the little toothpick thing, took that. It was Super Bowl Sunday this year. So while you were partying for 9 days, I had my one day where I took this extremely tiny amount of pot. And within like 15 minutes, all of a sudden, my brain was just like, oh my God, you're going to die. Oh my God, it feels like your brain's going to blow up. Oh my God, you'll never see your kids again. Oh my, like everything. I couldn't get out of this horrible spiral of like, everything was horrible. I was having the worst trip ever. And again, it comes back to Mad Men. So my husband comes in.
I'll never see that giant John Hamm cock in real life.
My husband comes in, and it was so funny because he had left the house for like 5 minutes, which felt like a fucking eternity to me. And he came back in, and then he went to the bathroom. And I was pacing in front of the bathroom, like tripping, just going, oh, I'm so miserable. I'm going to die. And I was just like, are you okay in there? And he said, what is your problem? And, just not even thinking about it. He finally comes out, and I'm just like, I'm totally having a bad trip. I just can't even deal with this. And he's like, okay, well, let's just sit and talk. And so we sat down for like a minute, and I couldn't, everything was just going negative. Everything, like he'd say, well, what do you think we, should we do this next week? And I'm like, I may not be alive next week. And I was just full on drama queen, miserable. And he goes, well, what do you think we should do? And I was like, I want to watch Mad Men. So we watched Mad Men, and it like completely brought me right back into my, it was
That's
all
really
good.
sad.
That was my comfort food.
I know, it's really sad.
No, it's not.
No, it's sad for me that I'm kind of the same, like, that I could just fucking die watching bad fucking serial dramas, and that'd be fine.
It would be totally
like
fine.
all the real life I've led, I could
But
just
that's the
drift
thing,
off.
Stanhope, you and
in
I
a
both.
Boardwalk Empire. Did they really kill off Michael Pitt early because he's a junkie? Because
He's on
I
Dawson's
followed
Creek.
I followed that rumor, and I picked him in my death pool. I wish I could make you famous so I could have you in my death pool next year.
I know. Well, you couldn't have Amy in your death. Well, we won't talk about that. That was sad,
Amy?
right? She wasn't in your death pool.
Who's Amy?
Whiskey girl?
Oh, yeah, no, she wasn't famous at all. She's just good.
Right.
Famous and good are two different fucking towers of leisure. What does that
What
even
is that?
mean?
I don't know. But anyway.
Leisure, is that what you said?
You know what? If I said it with confidence, people would
Yeah.
look it up. But the fact that I backtracked, they go, what great literary reference is that? Whoever said Towers of
That was from-
Leisure?
that was from
That's
Board-
Shakespeare.
If I could have
It was on
just
Boardwalk
sold
Empire.
Google that, please.
Okay,
So, where you try to get a fucking medical marijuana card.
Oh my God, that in itself was hilarious. So my son.
Don't tell me this is a 6-hour story, because that's where I was leading you before, and that was a 4-hour story.
Shut
that
up
you never
and let
got
me
to it.
talk. Stop yelling at me. So my son, 13 years old, walking down the street in Venice last summer, and this guy comes up to him and goes, "Hey, you want a pot card?" And my son's like, "No, thank you." Well, now he'd say, "Hell yeah," and he's 14 now. But then,
Well, yeah. First of all, let's get back to what a bad mother you are for letting a 13-year-old kid walk unaccompanied.
he wasn't
down Venice
unaccompanied.
Beach.
No, he was a
with
runaway.
an adult male.
He was a runaway.
He was with an adult male who was trying to give him a fucking
No. It
marijuana
was
card,
his
going,
Uncle
"I'm your real
Ray."
father. Here, come with me. There's candy in my van."
By the
He
way,
was-
that
it was
story makes it sound like it's easy to get a pot card.
It
It
is.
is, especially if you walk down the street in Venice.
This is where
But
she's
listen,
going,
This
I
is where I'm
think.
going.
All right.
So
Your
I actually
son.
have the thing in my purse. You
you-
have to see this thing to believe it. So my son is walking down the street, and the guy goes, "Do you want a pot card?" And my son was with his uncle, and he's like, "No, thank you." And then shortly,
Skip to the part where your uncle has
Short-
this pot card that he stole from the nephew.
shortly thereafter, I don't think he'd want the pot card, but
Beat it, kid. This is between me and him. Go ahead.
Well, so shortly thereafter, Paul walks into a pot club and says, "I have headaches." And the guy goes, Well, I forget what the amount
Your
was.
husband.
My husband.
Yep.
And he had to pay like $100, and they handed him a pot card. I go to my doctor. I'm seeing my oncologist, and he's like, so at this point I've got brain cancer, and I've got a lot of headaches. And so he's like, well, what kind of medication do you think we should work with? You know, there's a lot of medications, and I'm like, I don't really know. I've taken Percocet. It's not really helping right now. And he's like, well, we could try OxyContin, whatever. And my husband says, maybe can you issue a pot card?
For the record, so the jury hears this correctly. She pronounced OxyContin the right way. That's how white upper fucking class she is.
Did I not say OxyContin, which is
Yeah,
how my friends say it?
Yeah, cotton. You didn't say cotton. You said contin. That's how fucking white this woman is. Go ahead.
I'm like suburban mom.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I get this form from my doctor. It's like, University of San Francisco, University of California, San Francisco, oncology, melanoma clinic, my doctor's name, and then there's this full-on letter. My patient has stage 4 melanoma. It's terminal cancer. It's like this totally, full letter.
Suicide note.
But it's like completely, it's like the most official thing.
Yes.
So we go to this place. Actually, these guys are like the sweetest guys in the world. It's in Campbell, Green Jeans. That's the name of the little club. And they
Get your plug in. Go ahead.
Is this Venice?
No.
I know
This
you
is up
came
in
here to
San
plug. I
Jose.
know you came on the podcast
This is
to plug
in
things.
to plug the pot club that I went to once. So we go in there, and the guy was like looking at this letter, and he had no idea what to do with it. And he's like, what do I do? He's like calling over another guy, and the guy's like, oh, you have to look up the doctor's name in our system. For whatever reason, my doctor's name, because he's not like a pot club doctor, so his name isn't in the system. So
It probably looked like a sting operation.
I know.
I
huh?
Because
Maybe.
everyone else just goes,
Well,
oh,
'cause-
my knee goes weird when I do this. Oh, here's a card.
I know,
But this is an
right?
official letter. This is a sting.
I know. I was just so I
Cop
was-
had to write this.
I think I even texted Bingo at the time. I was standing there, I'm not even exaggerating, 30 minutes while the guy's trying to figure out how to officiate my official letter so that I can get so I can walk into the pot club to see what they have. And Paul's already got his card in hand, and he's like, been in there before, and they're super nice. But the guy's like, I'm so sorry. I just don't even know how to get you in our system. Another guy finally comes over and says, you have to call the hospital and verify that she's a patient. I'm like, my fucking 13-year-old son can walk down Venice Boulevard and get a card handed to him. And I'm standing here for 30 minutes just like begging, and I've got cancer. And so anyway, finally.
It's kind of like if you go to a sold out ball game. There's a scalper that'll give you tickets outside, but if you call the box office, they'll go, there's no more tickets.
Sorry.
Well, there's a one-legged hoppy Negro with a twitchy eye that'll sell you tickets outside. But if you call the box office, no way you're getting into this game.
Yeah, it seems like all you would have had to say was like, well, tear up that note. I can't get to sleep at night.
Right, I know.
And
I've
then
got
they-
freckles. I've got whatever. I've got something. I think that's a Keith Lowell Jensen joke, but yeah. I mean, it was.
You
like,
can steal
I was,
jokes when you're
I
dying.
know, totally. I was just.
On stage or off.
I was completely mortified, but
I'm good, thanks.
they were super cool. I walked in and they're like, "You get a free joint as like your new customer prize," and I'm all, I don't want that. Okay, thank you.
Wait, that's what you were there for.
No, I didn't want to smoke it.
Oh,
'Cause
So
I have
did you get
tumors
your
in my
card?
lungs.
okay.
So I got. So then
sorry.
the whole thing happens. In this county, you actually have to go to the county with a letter like this and get a card. But you can bring. But they put me in their computer, so now I can go to that place and just show my driver's license. So I don't have like an official card.
So are you doing
No
edibles or
So
anything?
I tried these things called Chiba Chews, and they basically taste like Tootsie Rolls that are pot flavored. They were kind of gross, but I got the ones with no THC in them. They just have the
Yeah, it's called a Tootsie Roll.
CBD. Oh yeah, you're so funny. That was good. They just has the CBDs, like the cannabinoids in them.
Okay.
And I don't know, are you a pot guy? Do
Oh,
you know
yeah,
these-
look at me.
Do you know these things? I know. Well, look at me. I'm just learning this stuff as I go. But we're gonna see if maybe that helped my headaches. It gave me the worst headache, so I didn't do that. And then
What are the like the side effects? Because
what are my
again,
side effects that I have?
you could be dead at any second, but you're spry, as they say in Bad Santa. Is Granny spry? Yes,
I'm spry.
You would. No one would look at you and think that you're anything
That I'm
other
dying
than
of cancer.
incredibly fat.
And my hair is falling. Look how bald. I have bald spots.
Once again, for the listeners
So
at
do
home,
I. I have
she
bald
has
spot.
flowing blonde hair down past
Exactly.
her shoulders.
Don't worry. There will be a thumbnail on this podcast.
God,
Yeah.
don't put a picture of me.
I had
I'll send you an old
alopecia
picture.
areata when I was first starting in comedy, which is balding in spots.
Yeah.
So I had this weird bald spot, like almost male pattern balding, but as though it spilled over to a side. We went in just completely bald, like right here on like the
That happens in patches, right?
yeah.
Like,
and
it's-
so
there's
I
no
could
rhyme or
comb
reason,
over it
yeah.
because I had a mullet back then.
Oh,
I could-
nice. God, you're hot.
But like, yeah, you might go, oh, that looks just maybe thin. It's not like you look like a cancer patient. You don't seem like a cancer patient, much less terminal to the brink of fucking death. But you are. So
I am.
what? Like, what? Like,
What are
how
my
does
side
it fuck
effects?
with you? Yeah.
Well, so
like,
the main side effects come from the drugs that I take. Like I wouldn't even let you touch my skin. My skin is covered in these really funky, gross bumps that I don't even know why that's happening, but it's apparently a big side effect.
that's why I wouldn't let you touch my penis. But that only happens
Oh,
every
come
so
on.
often.
So I have like this right here. There's a lump. I'm pointing at my collarbone. There's a lump on my collarbone. This thing, I don't even know what it is, and it sends out these pain spikes out
All right,
through my
so
chest.
for the record, what she's showing me is a bump, not like a weeping lesion, not an
just my
open sore.
skin.
It's like it's
There's
a
something
bump.
under my skin,
It's like
and I don't know what it is, but it's getting
it would-
bigger.
it's like a baby testicle.
No, it's bigger than. I mean, it's smaller than that. I've had a
Well,
baby.
I've never seen a baby testicle.
I have.
Well,
It was smaller.
I've seen them
This is
online, but
smaller. I know you've seen them online. We already know
it's
all that about
it's a
you.
weird cachet in my
But like the main things is I get headaches. That's the main thing. I get headaches.
hey, listen, I'm not a fag.
And my
There was a lady baby in that porn. I watch hetero baby porn.
Can you plug this porn movie that you watched?
Movie?
I'm sure there's plenty of people who want to know the name of that one.
Just put just put very heterosexual baby porn in a red tube, and you'll see all sorts of lumps like that.
Classy
Lumps
shots.
like that. So okay,
I don't
so
think this is necessarily funny, but I was getting laughs from the
It's
patio, so I
very
ran
funny.
with it.
So I have joint pain. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm seriously like 100 years old, and I need things
Okay,
to
you have
hold
lumps all over your body. I have those. I have joint pain. What else? What?
me, and I have headaches. So I really don't have.
I don't have headaches. I don't have cancer.
I don't have really significant. So in fact, my doctor, I take Percocet like there's no tomorrow. At this point, all I'm doing is addiction maintenance.
But they did tell you that you will probably die
From-
without ever knowing it happened. You'll probably just either have a seizure or
no,
go
I
to
mean not
sleep.
necessarily, because there's also tumors in my lungs. So if they fill up my lungs, that one's supposed to be really gnarly when you die from the lung tumors because you can't breathe, and it's like.
But
You
at
know
some
how
point,
that works.
at some point, you told me they had said that you probably won't see it coming. You'll just
Right,
die. 'Cause
right. Well, that was
you
earlier
ran
in the
out of
year.
treatments.
Right. That was earlier in the year because unfortunately, when you develop brain cancer, secondary brain cancer, most of your treatment options go away. Well, my doctor was like, well, fuck it. Why don't we just try doubling the dose of the cancer medication you're doing and see if that works? And we did. And it was working. Like my tumors are getting smaller. So I did that. And then I just started this other one that's like an infusion. I sit with a needle and an IV bag for an hour every 2 weeks. And that one makes me feel like hell. And it usually, after the second infusion, puts you in the hospital with like really nasty side effects. And so that's Friday. So I may not be in the Santa Cruz show because that's going to be Friday. But
do you ever just think about saying, fuck it, I'm just going to
honestly,
let it
I
go,
do.
ignore it, do the Doug Stanhope healthcare? Because if I had headaches, I'd go, oh, wow, I should drink more water before I drink myself to death.
No, I have moments where like I'll go, fuck, I've got a really bad headache. Maybe this is it. Bring it. Come on. I hope that's it. But
no, just to go, you know what? Actually, nothing's wrong with me. I'm just going to go through my everyday.
And not do the treatments?
Maybe one day I'll just fucking drop dead from not paying attention.
No, because I have kids, so I can't not do, and my husband. I mean, I can't not do treatment. I have to do treatment. And that's the only reason that I'm doing treatment. I mean, it's the only reason I'm stressed about dying. But I know I already yelled at you about, I don't really want to talk about my kids.
But
so
your family, do they, like, have they come to any kind of terms with it?
Yeah. I mean, like, my daughter just wrote a story about what it's like to have a mom going through cancer, and that got read. Like this chick who's a totally famous, gorgeous actress read that story online and has been emailing me.
She's from where?
Well, she was on Dawson's Creek.
I told you my Johnny
on,
Depp story. You tell me
her name's Busy Phillips, and she's totally beautiful. Yeah, and she does.
Busy's like an 85-year-old.
She does a comedy show with Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, I love Paul.
I know.
Do you mean Bijou Phillips?
No, Bijou is a totally different chick. Busy.
Yeah, fucking know your Dawson Creek faggot or get off the mic.
But she was on Freaks and Geeks. Did you watch Freaks and Geeks?
No.
That was the best show ever written.
You know who watched that? Freaks and Geeks.
She was James Franco's girlfriend in that, and she's one of the most gorgeous people
that
you'll
has to
ever
be the worst
lay
hell.
your eyes on.
I will tell you what you go through. What you go through is hell. With your fucking brain cancer
do you know
and
who
a
Kim
family
Kelly
watching
is?
you die slowly.
Isn't
but
she
a
like
worse
the most
hell
gorgeous?
is being a girlfriend of James Franco in fantasy or reality.
I don't care about James
That
Franco.
guy's a tool.
The chick who plays
and I'll
his
tell
girlfriend.
you one guy who agrees with me.
The chick who plays his girlfriend, Busy. He agrees with me. She's so beautiful. And she's on a show called Cougar Town now, which I've never seen. But she's been in like
wow,
ER.
Is it that long between shows?
No. She's done tons of movies. She was in White Chicks. I don't know. She's in lots of stuff.
Anyway, that's nice.
So yeah, because she
we
saw
have
my
to
daughter.
bring this to an end.
I know, I'm exhausted, but yeah, my kids are doing well. My daughter's in therapy. My son doesn't go to therapy. He doesn't really want to, but he's 14. He's cool. He's like a BMX dude.
All right, we're gonna pick this up in Santa Cruz.
And he wears your shirt, the one, the Death Pool shirt. He loves it.
We're going to put this podcast out, and then we can get questions from people. How long is a week before we're in Santa Cruz?
It's the 16th. Today's the something. I don't know what the
day is. We're going to put out
is.
this part 2 of Hennigan.
Today's like the 10th.
But just
so
talking to the
6
mic.
days.
Don't say, just tell me. You're going to write down
Is Brian
notes
coming to
like
any of
this
your
is a live
shows?
show.
I was going to write...
Brian didn't come here because he's creeped out about death. The same way he left when Mother was going to kill herself. He was at the house and he just
Are you serious?
He
Brian
fled.
didn't come because of
He's
me?
got, oh yeah. He left my house. He's like my friend. He's like, oh, I'm going to go then because your mother's coming over to kill herself. I'm going to go then. I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
I was looking forward to seeing Brian.
Yeah, they didn't want any part of this shit. Hang on. Oh, the burner phone. Yes, we have to mention the burner phone. The Doug Stanhope hotline where you can leave messages. Don't just fucking clog it up. It's a burner. It only takes... Don't go, oh, fuck you, Bip. Here's a fart. I'm drunk. But yeah, if you have actual input, call 520-366-1078. What's that again? 520-366-1078. Yeah, and we'll talk again in Santa Cruz. We'll have some people there. I don't know. Who do you know that's showing up there?
Well, I don't know. So you said you had people opening.
Yeah,
I've
a
got
couple people.
friends.
Well, they're not even fucking opening because we have 2 local openers. And thank you, local openers. I appreciate you, and I like to have you on the show. But I really wanted to fucking fire these 2 guys because I get fucking 2 of my good friends coming there. But I will not fire locals because I was too late in. You have your names on and you did, yeah. So
I wanted Keith. I still want to see Keith because the way I met him was at your show at the Improv.
We'll talk
I love him.
We'll talk about this after.
But I have like 6 friends going to that show in Santa Cruz, but it's sold out, and so half my other friends that wanted to go aren't going.
Well, fuck them.
I know, fuck
Make
them. They
them go
didn't
to
jump
Sacramento,
on it. I posted
which
on
is
Facebook
the worst
saying,
place ever.
Brown Paper Tickets emailed me and said, "There's 10 tickets left. Let your friends know." And I did that.
Well,
and only one of my friends jumped on it, so screw them.
All right. Well, fuck your friends.
We'll see them.
They're not real friends. If you can't walk out in your own neighborhood with your Death of a Salesman T-shirt, you're living your final days poorly.
Creepy Christian neighborhood.
Yes, you should be wearing assless chaps and a fucking black dildo.
Well, I wear the assless chaps, but I don't wear the Jesus
and you go,
shirt.
Royale Watkins? I don't even know if it's Royale Watkins. All black dildos look the same to me. Yeah, just go out, fucking die honest. When my mother was dying and I was about to do a 7-week European tour, they said she has about a 50-50 chance. And I sat down with her and I said, listen, Ma, don't try to not die till I get back. I'm not going to do a weepy goodbye with you now, but I'm not canceling a 7-week tour on the off chance that you fucking die. So try to not die. And what I'm going to do is I'll call you every night from the road on stage and we'll do Mother, Are You Dead Yet?
Oh,
and if it's a
nice.
paramedic that answers the phone,
then
it's going to be a shitty show. So Laura Kimball, try to not die till after the Comedy Store in August so we can do 3 parts of this. This is part 1. We'll talk to you next week in Santa Cruz. Then we'll do this at the Comedy Store in August. And if you're not dead after that, you
then
fucked me. You fucked me. You just played me.
I
You
will
punked
be dead
me.
after that at some point.
All
but
right.
Andy Andrus already threatened me and said I better not do a 2-parter. I think he's the only 2-parter.
No, you'll be a 3-parter.
Okay.
Fuck Andy. He's had the same act for 15 years, which is always brilliant.
Yeah, sounds like Bubbles.
I love you. We'll talk again.
I love
We'll
you
talk
too,
again
Stanhope.
in a week in
Okay.
Santa Cruz.
Okay, and then again at the Comedy Store in August because I'm so going to make it to that.
You should.
I better.
better.
I hope so.
You better.
Okay.
All right. Until cocaine on a piano-shaped coffee table with a mirror top.
Covered
In
in
August.
cigarette ashes and
That'll
cocaine.
be part 3.
Okay, can I say play the Mattoid?
Play the Mattoid, she said.
Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and eat your eats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Yeah. time, party time, party time, party time, party time, party time. Hey! Party time, yeah!